Have you ever seen couples who look destined for success? I'm talking about they had the right look, they had that pop, they had that glow. You might have called them a power couple. Like everything looked like it was in alignment. Like they had the money, they had the right house, they had all of the right externals. Everything looked good. And they were in love, legitimately, deeply, wonderfully, beautifully in love. And yet, things didn't go so well. I have watched couples, literally, I've been a part of weddings where the couples have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, hundreds of thousands. In the world that I have been in for years, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for their weddings. And that's great when you can do that. No problem with that. The challenge is that oftentimes these great couples with great potential, oftentimes with great resources, ruin great marriages, ruin great potential. And it's so heartbreaking for me as a marriage coach who works with couples day in and day out to watch them ruin their great relationships. And I've noticed a pattern. I've seen a pattern that there are three things, at the very least, that these couples lose sight of. They stop paying attention to. And it's not things like date night, though that's important. It's not things like fun and laughter, though that's very important. Those things are very important. I want to talk about some rather core issues and core challenges that when couples lose sight of these things, when they stop giving attention to these things, they run the risk of ruining a great marriage. Are you running the risk of ruining a great marriage? Like you're in a great marriage, you're thinking about getting married, and you have great potential for the relationship that you're in to be something valuable and extraordinary that could be a real blessing to you, and that could have a real impact on others. And I want to say that if that's you, pay attention to this video, because I'm going to give you three things that you do not want to lose sight of. You don't want to stop paying attention to these things so that you can have the marriage you've always dreamed of, and you can fulfill your dreams, and you can fulfill your potential and your purpose as a couple. All right, let's jump right into it. So these three things that great couples pay attention to who do actually succeed. One, they have a family mission. They have a mission. They have a mission for their marriage. They don't just see the marriage as the end all and the be all. It's not just about let's have a great love relationship and let's be a beautiful couple and let's go beautiful places and do beautiful things. Nothing wrong with those things at all. Not at all. I wish for all couples to be able to do those things. Sherry and I enjoy those things. We love getting away, whether it's to the Caribbean or to Europe or wherever we can go and want to go. We do those things. We love it. But there's something more foundational. It is that mission that drives that couple, that family. The question to ask is, why are you married? Or why do you want to marry that person? I remember when Sherry and I were dating, we were talking about our future together, and we'll talk about that in a moment. We were talking about our plans and what we were dreaming of, and we realized that we wanted to be together for the rest of our lives because we believed we could accomplish more together than we could individually. And we began to craft a mission for our marriage. And later on, we crafted a mission for our family because we believed that we were to be together to do something great, not just to be together. Am I going too fast? Is this making sense to you? Right? You don't just want to be together. You want to ask, like, why am I marrying this person? Or why are we married? What is it that we're called to together? When you don't operate out of a core, foundational, bold mission together, you lose sight of why you're together, and you can begin to sort of just fight around silly stuff. Why are you together? What is the purpose? It's bigger than just being together. It's bigger than the things you can enjoy or accumulate. Again, nothing wrong with those things. The question is, do you have a mission? Why are you together? If you don't have one, stop, slow down, work on a mission. What are we designed for? I would say, as a pastor, what are you called to? Listen, you don't even buy a car without buying it for a purpose. If you need a pickup truck, it's probably because you got some stuff to haul. If you buy a sports car, it's probably because your part of your mission is, I'm gonna go have some fun. The purpose for this car is to have some fun driving. Come on and help me talk, somebody. You even buy cars with a purpose. What is the purpose for your marriage? Do you have a sense of why you're together and what it is you uniquely as a couple are called to accomplish, to do something bigger than you? That's not just about you. You need a purpose that's bigger than you. Did I say that too many times? Did y'all get that? Are y'all tracking with me? Hit me up in the comments on this video to let me know if I'm making sense to you. Part of every family mission, I believe, should be to break cycles, generational cycles of dysfunction. Generational cycles of dysfunction. Listen, don't trip. Don't act like you didn't have madness come from your family line. Don't act like you didn't see dysfunctional things. Doesn't mean you didn't come from a great family, perhaps, but everyone has dysfunctions that are before us, that affect us. And so we both were children of divorce, me and Sherry. And we said, we want to break that. We're going to break that. We saw so many dysfunctions in our family lineages, and that's not blaming your parents. We're not talking about putting your parents down. We're just talking about acknowledging that the way they did some things was really kind of whack. Like, we ain't trying to do that way. Let's make sure we break some cycles of family dysfunction. There are, by the way, some very basic beliefs or statements of dysfunctional families. Have you ever heard these? Don't trust. Don't tell. Let's see. Oh man, the third one. Don't trust. Don't tell. Basically, don't let in. Don't show. Basically, don't trust. Don't tell. Don't show. Like, listen, we are the blank family, and we don't tell our business to other people outside, right? Don't show any evidence of who we are. We don't let people into our circle, right? Don't tell. Don't trust. Don't show, or don't express emotions. Oftentimes is what that is translated to mean, right? We don't express our feelings like that. So, and we don't trust people from outside, and we don't tell our family business. Nothing can foster family dysfunction more than those three dysfunctional beliefs, truths, and affirmations. Not really affirmations, but you know what I'm saying. Right. So you want to break family dysfunctions. Here's the way I would say it. Couples without a big life-giving mission implode because of focus on themselves. Let me say that one more time. Couples without a big life-giving mission implode oftentimes because they're too focused on themselves. You were made for something great. You are together for something great. Stop walking around like y'all just here to love on each other and have a cute life and have some children and live in the right neighborhood. I hope you do get all of those things. I hope you're blessed financially. I hope that you enjoy success. But you and I were put together with our partners, our spouses, to accomplish something great beyond ourselves. Okay, let's talk about another one, financial condition. Couples who ruin great marriages lose their focus on having a healthy financial condition. And we're not just talking here about paying bills. I think that's minimal. Like, you should always be working to pay your bills, but you should be working on something far greater than that. Like building wealth, growing wealth, using your gifts and your creative abilities to generate wealth, whether you work for a corporation or whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever your lane is, you want to focus on wealth building. Because just because you didn't come from wealth doesn't mean you shouldn't leave some wealth. I said that way too fast. Just because you didn't come from wealth doesn't mean you shouldn't leave some wealth. And I've watched way too many couples in my work with couples amass wealth and waste the wealth so that they can't leave any wealth. Did I say that too fast? They amassed the wealth. They made a lot of money playing football or baseball or basketball, and then they wasted the wealth. So now the next generation has no wealth. I remember dear friend owned a house. It was nearly paid for. They bought a house. It was nearly paid for. And I just said, hey man, I just heard you say that you only owe this much on your house. He's like, yeah. He said, but we're renting a house right now because this is where we play. And I'm like, cool. He paid the guy whose house he was renting a whole year in advance and didn't pay off his own house in the other city where his family would be going to. That kind of lack of wisdom is what gets you in trouble. And don't you know that after only owing 1/5 of the cost of the house, which he could have paid off, they ended up losing the house. The guy he was renting from for his family walked away with all the money, let the rental house go into foreclosure, and he and his family got kicked out of the rental house with no recourse, lost all that money. My goodness, they did not focus on their financial condition, and unfortunately, their marriage didn't make it. Their children suffered from it and have deep resentment and deep regret that they lived way up here during the playing years. And now they're struggling just to make it financially in their now adult years. And you want to focus on your financial condition, how to grow your wealth, how to preserve your wealth, insurance that insures you against loss and against death. That right? You want to focus on your financial condition. And I'm telling you, I've seen people make a lot of money and waste the resources. A lot of people say that the NFL means not for long, and it means that they're not going to be in that league for long. I've worked with a lot of NFL players. I was an NFL chaplain and life coach for 14 years, all those things, right? But I've watched people go make the money fast, lots of money, and lose the money by the time they're 3 years out of the league. The average player in that league only plays about 3 years on average, and to lose all that money. I was talking with a dear friend of mine. I said, hey, man, how can we help couples broadly around these sports leagues? And he gave me some pointers. He gave me some very helpful insights. He said, you know what you might want to be focusing on, though, is college players. He says, because they're getting a lot of money and they're becoming parents to their parents when it comes to money. And before you know it, they're not going to have any money to pass on to their own families. Here's what I'm saying. Focus on, pay attention to your financial condition. We operate from a very simple formula. Sow, save, spend. Sow, save, spend. So we believe in giving God the first 10% of all of our increase, all of our income. Yeah, we've been doing it for years. You don't have to do it if that ain't your thing, but I'm telling you, there's something about that principle that's very, very powerful. And I've watched our trajectory. I've watched God grow us. And so we sow, we give first to God. We save at least 20%, right? Build an emergency reserve. But part of saving is also investing. I think of it as also investing is how you preserve some of your wealth, right? Invest. You have to save and invest. You begin to invest money, not just spending it, and not even just saving it for an emergency, but making money grow and work for you. Whether it's in real estate, whether it's in stocks, whether it's whether it's in other kinds of assets. I don't claim to be a financial planner. I just know you got to have a financial plan. I don't claim to be a financial planner. I just know you got to have a financial plan, because if you don't have a plan for your money will fail you in the end. So a financial focus, a financial condition, good financial condition, means that you don't have an unhealthy relationship to money. right? Because when couples have an unhealthy relationship to money, they begin to fight about money. And fighting about money is one of the biggest sources of divorce, biggest causes of divorce in marriages. Couples who don't plan financially, who don't focus on the condition of their finances, and I'm talking about uber wealthy couples, right? Well, maybe not uber wealthy, but wealthy. When they don't have a plan for their finances, and when they have an unhealthy relationship with money, they meet financial demise. It puts stress on the marriage, and they're arguing about money. Like, how's it that you can make $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year and be arguing about money? That's because you don't have a good plan. You're not focused on your financial condition. And listen, you can't have healthy financial condition if you're not healthy, if you're not emotionally healthy, if you're not relationally healthy. I'm telling you, couples, you cannot be great with money if you don't get great at you, at being healthy, your perspective, growing yourself, personal growth, and emotional development, because there's a powerful, powerful correlation between the two. Let me say it this way. Couples who have unhealthy relationships with money are almost guaranteed to have an unhealthy relationship. I'll say that again. Couples who have an unhealthy relationship with money are almost guaranteed to have an unhealthy relationship. And that unhealthy relationship can lead to a lot of strain and pain, and can lead to the demise of that relationship, that marriage. All right, here's the last thing you want to make sure that you give attention to so that you can succeed in your marriage. By the way, if I haven't introduced myself, I am Rod Harrison. I am an executive marriage coach, a relationships expert. I've been pouring into couples, encouraging couples, building up couples for a long time, since my days. In fact, we were just barely married, Sherry and I. We've been married now for 34 years, but we were doing this back on the campus at Howard University, where she graduated from. We were doing this at UCLA, where we were working with athletes and with coaches and people in the athletic department back in, I'm not even going to tell you the years. We've been doing this all of our years that we were part of the NFL. I've been in coaching practice for a lot of years now, working with couples. We love to see couples win, and we want to see you win. And the reason I'm doing these videos is because I want to see you win, and I believe in you. I just want you to know that. All right, let me give you this last thing to make sure you pay attention to, and that is future vision. Future vision. You must focus on the future. You must have a focus on the future, not solely the future, but you got to have a vision for your future. Do you have a vision for your future? Do you dream about the future? Do you plan for the future? Do you talk about the future? I've met so many couples, I've worked with so many couples who are living day to day. They're just going day to day, getting the kids to school, picking the kids up from school, having dinner, doing the homework, putting the kids to bed, doing it all over again, glad when the school year ends and they do it the next year, but they have not begun to dream about their future. Who do we want to be 25 years from now? Sherry and I, when we were young in our marriage, we looked and we're like, wait a minute. We've had 4 babies in a short amount of time. Like, we had 3 of them, maybe 4 of them at one time, in diapers and pull-ups. And we're like, you know what? By the time we are 50, our kids will all be about out of college. Boom. Sure enough, we're like, we're going to be young. What are we going to do? And we began to think about the future. I said, well, I want to travel the world and sip coffee and take photos. Like, I love photography. She's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's do that. She goes, and I want to spend time at the beach. And so we started making plans for the things that we want to do at this part of our lives. And guess what? We're doing it. We are doing it because we had a plan for the future. I have some dear friends. They have done brilliantly in their lifetime, built extraordinary wealth. But when they didn't have that wealth, they said, one day we'd like to live in 3 parts of the country in different seasons. And so what do? They have a place in the Northeast where they go at one part of the season. They have a place down in the South where they go, one part of the year. They have a place on the East Coast that they go to another part of the year, and they travel together. And they're now well into their 80s, but they were planning for this. And she said of her husband, "Oh, he's a planner. He's always planning. He's always thinking about the future." And I'm saying to you, you got to have a plan for your future, because you don't want to get to your future with no plan. You don't want to get to the time when your kids are walking out, going to college, and you're like, "Who are you? And why are we together? And I don't even like you anymore." You got to start dreaming about your future together, like retreat together, get away together, just spend time dreaming, thinking about the future, writing it down, so that you can have a plan for how you want to live in your later years. I'm telling you that so many of the couples I know who have given up on their marriages would not have given up on their marriages if they were thinking about their mission, their financial condition, and their vision for the future, because they would have had something worth fighting for, something that would help them fight through the difficult times, so that they could see rainbows at the end of the rain, so that they could see that there's more to them than what they were going through. And I don't want you to be one of those couples who you lose your way because you lost focus on these things. My good friend, Dr. Samuel Chan, says, what you obsess about comes about. And I would say, what you focus on is what you get on. What you focus on is what you get, right? That's what you get in your life. Focus on it and you'll get it. Focus on your family mission. Focus on your financial condition. Focus on a future vision, and it will keep your marriage strong. And I believe you will succeed. In fact, I'm celebrating your success. I'm championing your success. I'm believing God for your success, no matter where you are in your marriage. I want to see you win, and I believe you can. Hey, I'm Rod Harrison. It was great to be with you today. I hope that you found this content helpful. If so, drop some thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe, share, so that we can continue to be a huge blessing to couples who really, really need this encouragement. See you in the next video.